everybody. This is Media One Sports. We are at Woburn High School at Conley Stadium for this morning's Thanksgiving Day matchup between Woburn and Winchester. It's a big rivalry, and it serves as the final game of the season for these two teams. I'm Sal Liberto, and I'm joined by Steve Algieri. First of all, Steve, happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving to you, Sal. Glad to be here as always.
Great. And, you know, when these two teams meet, you pretty much throw out the records, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. The Sachems and Tanner's coming into this game with, different goals preseason-wise. Sachems thought they had a chance maybe to crack the title. Woburn looking to try to get up in the upper echelon of the league. Things have kind of worked out in reverse. Woburn needs a victory here today to get a 500 season.
Right.
500 season is already assured by the Sachems, but maybe a little intensity lacking coming in.
Right.
But being Thanksgiving, Sal, I mean, once you get that first hit, you see a big crowd out here.
Yep.
I think these kids can't help get pumped up, and I think we should see a good ball game between two evenly matched teams here today with just a wealth of tradition behind it.
Tom DiCarlo will kick it off, and he hits it high and deep. Beautiful kick, which will carry him into the end zone and go out. So that'll be a touchback. It's a storied tradition. 94 years, 94 times these two teams have met. It's 100 years that the tradition has gone on. The first game was when, Steve?
Back in 1891.
1891.
So dates back 107 years, and being the 94th renewal of this great series. The Sachems have kind of owned this piece of real estate that we're on here at Conley Stadium. Woburn has not had a victory here since 1982.
That's right, 1982. They won in 93, but they haven't won since. Number 5, Alexis Cologne, is setting up for quarterback for Woburn at the 20-yard line after the touchback on the kickoff. Everybody stacked in close for Winchester, and here's a give to the big fullback who's knocked down after a gain of a yard.
Actually, starting quarterback's the sophomore, Brian Skeffington.
That's true.
What's happened was when the Tanners have gone to their black jerseys, number 5 did not fit Alexis Cologne. He had to get a bigger jersey size, and thus number 7 fit him a little bit better, so he swapped with the sophomore being a senior and so forth. Pretty much just grabbed it from him.
That's right.
We have a different uniform.
Seniors could do that. Skeffington is under center. He has a single setback, and he has 3 wideouts in the game. Make that 4. Here's a snap and a play action fake. Roll to the right side. Got some time, and he's going to run with the ball to the 25, up close to the 30, just shy of the first down on the third down.
That's one thing Brian Skeffington does exceptionally well. Makes very good decisions on the rollout. Coach John O'Reilly and head coach Rocky Nelson like to get him on the go. He's a very strong passer on the roll, but a lot of times, it seems more times than not, he'll just tuck it on the arm and pick up, say, 5 to 10 yards, which makes him so dangerous coming out of that backfield. And he's only a sophomore.
Only a sophomore. Well, he's got a couple more years to go. He's tall, too, isn't he? Third down and just a few inches, really. They stack the backfield. A wideout split to the left side. Now they send 88 in motion, and here's a give to the tailback. He's going to get the first down just across the 30 to the 22. That's Craig Iverson, who's put in a whale of a season. Exactly. He's the leading scorer on the team.
Another fine-looking sophomore. Woburn has a lot of future prospects out there today, juniors as well as sophomores. Iverson, a very fine, instinctive runner. As your textbook tailback terms of how he cuts, how he sees the field very well, as that nice spin move, which is sometimes is not really taught in a running back. You just have to inherently have that, and Craig Iverson does.
Barry Sanders. Here's the snap, and they give the ball inside, and a gain of maybe a yard in the play. It's Woodson Michelle on the carry.
Well, Sachems are ready for that. They're very wary of any time Woodson Michelle is in the ball game, I would think, as were the other 9 teams in the middle 6. Lake Michelle, very dangerous. Number 10 can do it all for the Sachems, coming out of the backfield, catching passes, and we'll see as the game goes on, kicking, returns, and just whatever. Defensively, he's tied the school record with 8 interceptions on the season. So they know when number 10's in the game offensively. There's like a couple of eyes pointed out that way.
Got to keep an eye on him. Backs in an eye this time for Skeffington. Here's the snap. He'll roll to the left side. Lots of pressure, and he's going to go down at the 21-yard line. That is a gorgeous sack, and that's by Doug Halchak.
Well, Doug Halchak,
number 73, one of the captains of the team.
Plagued by injuries this season. Healthy, obviously tracking down Skeffington. Good-sized kid, one of the tri-captains for the Sachems, and Skeffington does not get sacked quite very often at all. No. He's only started 3 games. He's a very gifted and nimble runner, but Halchak just fought off the block on that, and a big, strong kid was able to haul down the sophomore.
Halchak, 6'5", 225, so that's average by pro standards and huge for high school. Skeffington will bring him up to the line now facing a difficult situation. A third down and almost 20. Here's a snap, and they will run a reverse. And here's Cologne rolling to the right side and looking to throw. He'll gun it deep down the field into traffic. It is intercepted at the 50-yard line. So Winchester with the first turnover of the game. Not a good throw on that play.
No, it was not even well conceived either, or well concealed. As we said, Cologne did throw the last desperation pass against Belmont when Woburn was in the Hail Mary motion on that, and you know, it was quite obvious if Winchester was scouting and he was pumping the ball and trying to throw it on the run, and the ball just caught too much air under it, and Jeremy Carroll was underneath to get the interception.
All right, and Jeremy Carroll is, after starring on the interception, will come in and play quarterback. A lot of players playing both sides of the ball for both these two teams. Backs in an I formation, wideouts left and right. Here's the snap, give it to the fullback, and he plows forward for a couple, and that's going to make it second down and about 8. So Winchester already probably the better team, and now with some good field position.
Oh, exactly. That's one thing Woburn did not want to do, give Winchester the short field. The Tanners need to get off to a good start. They're not a very quick starting team. Only 7 points scored in the entire first quarter all season for Woburn. So they don't want to give one up early. There's a very key trait in just about all sports. Scoring first usually leads to victories more often than not.
Carroll has a couple of guys in the backfield, sends one in motion. Here's the snap. He'll roll to the right side. Now flip it out, and the ball hits the ground. It is recovered, however, by Joe Murphy.
Well, unfortunately for Winchester, unfortunately for Woburn, that play was there.
He had yards.
Just a little bit too far. Carroll just absolutely torched Woburn last year in the Thanksgiving Day game. 185 yards, mostly on the keeper. That's one thing I'm sure the Woburn scouting report said. Do not let Carroll run the ball. Make him pitch it and perhaps leave the ball on the ground like we just saw. But unfortunately for Woburn, the play was very well developed for Winchester. There was nobody out on the corner.
Absolutely. So that might have been a big gain. Instead, it's 3rd down and 5. They'll play it from just outside the 45-yard line. Wishbone formation. Everybody's in tight for Woburn. Here's a snap and a play action, or a fake, and a pitch to the left side. And this time they have a defense and a stop. A huge hit by number 88. That's Joe Prizo. Makes the play at the 47-yard line, and it's going to set up a 4th down. And Winchester not able to take care of the early opportunity.
Now Woburn again coming at the Sachems, making them have to throw the ball.
Absolutely.
We saw the sophomore Craig Iverson, who has done an outstanding job on both sides of the football, just came in with contained force, the inside run, and Prizio came in on the backside and finished off on the tackle.
All right, so it's a punting situation for Winchester, and that's going to be Tom DiCarlo in punt formation.
Not possessing a great average, but if Carlo can kick punt as well as he kicked off, so we saw that touchback.
That's right.
I think that's a deceiving 29-yard average he has.
And Craig Iverson, who is a dandy of a returner, standing back deep. And
nice,
he fumbles the ball. He drops it and then falls back on it.
Fumble on the play, recovered by Woburn.
Well, I had a lot of confidence selling DiCarlo. Had a nice little spiral, little tail dragger.
Hit it to the corner.
Exactly. That and so what you want to have a lot of times a telltale stat is a punt inside the 20. And we just saw one. There's one inside the 10. So the Sachems winning the battle of attrition so far in this 94th renewal of this war, if you will, between the neighboring towns.
Well put. It's they'll play it from the 7, will Woburn. First down on the second possession. So that's pretty impressive defense. They hold Winchester, who gets the ball at the 50-yard line, and they don't get a first down. So you got to. The Tanners definitely picking one up there. Here's the snap, and they give the ball to the fullback. And he fumbles the ball. It's loose on the turf, and it appears that Woburn got it back.
Fumble recovered by Woburn.
Another bullet dodge. Who was that on the carry?
Joe Prizio, who's not a natural fullback, but has done a nice job this season running the ball. The Sachems almost came up with the big turnover, but the Tanners, their fullback position has been fullback by committee this year. Joe McGrath started earlier, was injured. They've used Ryan Keeley, they've used Prizio, they've used Cologne. It's it's a cattle call out there, but Prizio seems like he's settled down, and they get a good break. He's a hard-running big kid, just a junior, and we will take that early break. They now have a little better field position in the 20.
That's right. So they gain yards by a fumble. Robert Doherty fell on the ball. It was a fortuitous play for Woburn. Long snap count. Here's a snap, and they will run the ball again. And there's some room to the left side, turning it back inside. That's Woodson Michelle, and he gets 15 yards up to the 35-yard line.
Well, Michelle, I did a story on him in our supplement issue, told me earlier he wanted to get the ball more on Thanksgiving Day.
Is that right?
Being his final year as a senior football player. Iverson's been pretty much getting the carries. Iverson's your tailback for the future, and a little more inbred runner than Michelle. Michelle is lightning fast, but doesn't have the moves inside that Iverson has, but Michelle is a burner, and he can take it all the way, and he nearly did on that carry.
From the 35, Skeffington looking to throw here, and rifles it to the right side, and it's caught for a modest gain.
Complete to number 22.
That's Craig Iverson.
Well, a lot of times the Woburn passes this year have been a little controlled passing
Possession
variety.
passes,
Exactly like that. You're going to pick up the 4 yards. It's a long handoff, if you will. I'm sure they didn't want to really throw it down in the grass, but they'll take the 4 yards to begin with. A lot of underneath stuff is what Skeffington's been successful with, and is now his 4th game as a Woburn starter.
We'll call it 2nd down and 7 from just above the 37. We'll call it the 38. Backs in an I formation. Wide out split to the left side. Here's the snap, and then we'll give the ball to Iverson again. He lunges forward, maybe a yard on the carry up to the 39.
Mike Morris was not fooled by anything. The left defensive end for the right defensive end for the Sachems has fought off his block and was able to stick Iverson, and now Woburn's going to face a 3rd and long, and passing situation obviously developing here in a scoreless game.
And the first quarter is moving quickly. It's 3:40 to go in the first. They'll play it from just about the 39. We're going to call it a long 5 here on 3rd down. 3rd down and a long 5 for Skeffington and company. As Prizio is the single setback, has a couple of flankers on either side. Now he sends everybody out, so 4 wideouts in the game. Here's a snap, Skeffington to throw. He's got some pressure. He heaves it up to the left side and overshoots his target. Looking for Iverson over there, and Jared Scribner was on a pattern as well, but it wasn't clear which one he was throwing it to, was it?
Yeah, it looked like Iverson was trying to cut off Scribner, maybe using a pick, if you will, and trying to get a little sideline and go pattern. Skeffington was under a little pressure, just kind of flung it up there, not taking the sack. And at least Woburn, which began on their own 8, I do believe, was able to get some punting room and trying to shift the field position away from their own end zone, which is very quick played first quarter. Still 3 minutes to go now.
That's right.
Michelle was a pretty decent high school punt and might be able to get a decent punt off here.
Woodson Michelle hits it, and he hits it high. A nice high punt, and a fair catch is called for and made at the 25-yard line.
That's probably the most hidden ability that Michelle has for Woburn. He's a very good high school punter, a 34-yard average. He can turn the ball over. Last year, he filled in. He had maybe about 15, 20 boots, averaged under 30 yards. I don't think he really worked on it, but in the offseason, he certainly has developed and had some good hang time on that kick. And that was actually
36.
I believe, into the wind, too, because we saw DiCarlo kick one into the end zone, and now Michelle had a nice punt into the wind and no return on that. So that net of 36 yards is certainly important.
Mike Rosilio made the fair catch, and now Winchester takes over their second possession of the game. Here's a snap and rolling, and here's a fake by Carroll. He'll run with the ball to the 35, to the 40, to the 45. There's a flag down on the play, so we'll have to check out the penalty.
Usually in that position, Sally, it's going to go against the offense, I believe.
Probably something of the holding variety, but let's check out the penalty.
Yeah, number 74 for Winchester. That's the left tackle, Bill Fleming's not too happy.
And you hate to see that if you're Winchester because it's away from the play.
Well, that's what Jeremy Carroll can bring to the Sachems, and something the Woburn team saw a lot last year at Knowlton Stadium. That option keeper, nice fake pitch, turned it up inside for a 15, 20-yard gain, but it's all going to go for naught.
That's right. They'll mark that one from the spot of the foul, which is around the 30-yard line. So they'll push them back to the 20, and this time they'll play a first down in about 17 from that spot.
Ball is on about the Winchester 21-yard line.
Woburn's actually had an up-and-down year defensively. Jim Dominici starting at linebacker has been a big lift for them. Just a junior, not a big kid. Now they're going to put him out on the outside with perhaps like a pass rush coming.
Carroll wants to throw. He's got some time, and he throws it to the right side, and it's incomplete. Missing his target, Matt Malatesta, on the right side. So that'll bring up second down and 17. Well, Winchester had the early advantage, and now the penalty sets them on the bad side of the field. And let's see if Woburn can capitalize here defensively.
Well, that's one thing the Sachems do not want to do. Not that Jeremy Carroll's not a good thrower, but they also want to keep that running game going. A pure wishbone team in the past. The Sachems give you a different look, but they still come out with that power backfield. And obviously that's a type of offense that is not really predicated to a second and long situation.
He'll go wishbone this time, Will Carroll. Sets him up at the 20-yard line. Second down 17. Runs a flanker to the right side. He'll run to the left, and he's got some room, but again, Woburn able to snuff it out. A 2-yard gain at best on that play.
Craig Iverson and Tim Ancinanti coming on for the tackles. The Woburn defensive leaders have been their defensive backs, making a lot of tackles with Michelle, the leader, and Iverson and Massinanti coming up with the sticks. That's good and both bad, Sal. Obviously, you don't want your defensive backs having to make a lot of tackles, meaning they're your last line of defense. It's good that they are at least making the stops. And Woburn has cut down on an abundance of big plays this year, something that it had been stung with in the past and also last year and earlier this season.
Well, Winchester is going to call timeout here and think this one over. 3rd down and 16, and
key play in the game early
very
on.
Important play, right? You really need to try to get something here, but you don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to throw into pass coverage out of desperation, but you want to try to improve your field position a little bit.
And with the 5 timeouts that you get in high school football, certainly a good opportunity to use one now. I mean, if it was 3 timeouts, you say, gee, why wouldn't place one now? You're still in the first quarter. It's 3rd and long. Obviously, you have to pass or you have to try to come up with some sort of wrinkle that Woburn's not expecting. Woburn obviously can just sit back in coverage, try to get a pass rush on Carroll, and obviously it's to their best interest on the defensive situation. They're dictating tempo right now, and hopefully can get the field position swung back in their favor.
Let's see what happens here. 3rd down and about 16. Carroll will bring him up to the line. He'll go wishbone, and he sends a flanker over to the right side. That's Brian Curry.
Top receiver with 13 catches this season.
Yep, good player. Long snap count. Here's the snap, and he'll roll to the right side. Carroll now flips it back to the tailback, and he's going to get some yards up to about the 30-yard line. But again, Woburn is there. Joe Murphy with the run.
Well, one thing I think I might have just noticed on that, Craig Iverson just coming from across the field. He might be a spy on Carroll, if you will. Just keeping an eye on him, making sure where Jeremy Carroll goes, Craig Iverson goes. And certainly has the speed and the ability to go one-on-one with the senior quarterback. And Iverson forced that early pitch.
Well, you make a good point that these guys are making the tackles. Some of the stars on Woburn's offense are making the tackles. That doesn't bode well for Woburn's offense later in the game, does it? If they're going to have to step it up physically.
They do expend a lot of energy, and with the 11-minute quarters, there's 4 more minutes of football to be played.
Right. Tom DeCarlo has come back on to punt again, and he hits a punt to the left side, and out of bounds. He's going to go to the receiver. That's Woodson Michelle.
By number 73, Doug Alchek.
Michelle, very sure-handed, has a fine punt return average, as we've alluded to. Does just about everything on the field, Sal. He's even thrown a pass, complete, of course, this season, and he'll catch everything. One thing I've seen covering high school football 17 years is not a lot of punt returns.
Right.
Kids do not want to catch the ball in fear of perhaps making a turnover, but they give away a lot of yards by letting the ball.
They will play it from the 40-yard line. 3rd down, and we're going to call it 10. And Skeffington is under center. 4 wideouts in the game. It's a probable passing situation for Woburn. There's a snap. Time, straight drop, a quick throw over the middle, and it is caught. A great catch by number 3, Robert Doherty. And it's close to a first down. They may have to bring out the sticks to measure this one.
Well, obviously you're in 4-down territory, Sal. Again, that's the Woburn control passing offense. They like to spread the field and throw a lot of underneath stuff.
Right.
Nice timing pattern to, I believe it was Doherty, a Scribner?
Robert Doherty.
You're right. Sure-handed junior receiver. And Skeffington, quick drop, like a little 3-step job, and was able to get that out there. Because obviously with nobody in the backfield, you can't be doing 5, 7-step drops because the pass rush is just going to be on you.
They will measure. It's just shy of the first down. Shy by maybe 6 inches.
Well, that's a no-brainer. They're going to go for it.
So they'll go for it.
Woburn has not done very well in power situations. Obviously, Iverson's maybe 155 pounds. Michelle's $160. F. Prizio, the fullback, is not a pure fullback, is certainly developed into a good, hard runner. You'll see a power eye here, probably giving it off to the tail with Iverson. They have Ryan Keeley in as an up-back.
All right, let's see what happens here at the midfield stripe. Big Winchester defense brings themselves in. Everybody's in tight, a flanker to the left. Here's the snap, and they will give the ball. That is Iverson. And Iverson has more than the first down. 4 yards on that play to the 46. That's a great run by Iverson.
You don't see a lot of sophomores breaking into the middle section.
No, you don't.
League
He's not a big guy.
As a tailback.
And he's making this. He makes a great play there.
I remember in the preseason stories when Rocky Nelson was telling me that it's either Michelle or Iverson at the tailback. I was just looking at the straight age of the young man. Seeing a sophomore, I'm like, oh, it's going to be Iverson. He's not going to play in this league for a while, but he came out in the Medford game, had a big second half, 100-plus yards. again, shows a lot of instincts, a good head-up runner, has great vision, and just can find the holes.
Precocious young man from the 46-yard line, first down and 10. Woburn on the move. Skeffington has some pressure. He'll have to roll to the right side, and he'll be sacked on the play at the 49-yard line. A play that never really developed. Good pressure by Winchester on that
the Sachems, either they knew what was coming or just got the great penetration on that.
Right.
Just all over, and that's the second sack early.
We'll give credit to Michael Morris on that play. Well, that is the end of the first quarter, and nobody has scored. We're at the 49-yard line, and it's going to be second down and 13. Everybody's going to switch positions now. There's a light breeze blowing, if you haven't noticed. It's not too significant at this point in the game. It could pick up. There's rain in the forecast, so we may get some drizzling by the end of the game, but it hasn't been a factor to this point.
No, I think we're fortunate. It's a morning contest, so obviously being Thanksgiving, you're going to kick off in the morning, 10 or 10:15, whatever the league likes to dictate. It's not looking too promising for this afternoon. The weather reports, according from one of the local writers, Jim Haynes of the Woburn Advocate, who dabbles with part-time weatherman, I believe, says noontime. We're expecting the deluge to come in, and that's about an hour and 20 minutes from now, which will probably be late third quarter, I do believe.
Well, we're here in this cozy press box, so you and I, we aren't nearly as affected as the players and the fans. So certainly for their sake, I hope it doesn't rain. Of course, then we'll have to deal with the drive home. Got any nice plans for Thanksgiving, Steve?
All the usual family obligations, which is just as part of, obviously the big part of Thanksgiving, but
Great.
I've been going to Thanksgiving Day games 17 years back at Waltham High as a player. I wouldn't know what to do with a Thanksgiving morning without a high school football game to watch.
Wonderful. Skeffington under center at the 49-yard line. Second down after the sack and 13. Here's a snap. More pressure, and he rolls to the right side, and he's thrown down on the play. Thrown down by number 73, Doug Halchak. That's Halchak's second sack.
Well, I think he's got a leg up on player of the game, obviously, Sal. Very strong kid who was out for a couple of games early this season with an injury, one of the tri-captains on the Sachems. Just been overpowering the right side of the Woburn line. You're going to have to start paying attention to number 73 on the Sachem side of the ball.
We alluded to it earlier, 6'5", 225. That's what they have printed here. I'm thinking 6'8", 290. No, 6'5", 225. A big guy, and made a great play on that one. It's going to be tough to throw from that side of the field. Third down now, and long, and looking to throw is Skeffington. He has time this time, rifles it, but way too high at the 35-yard line, looking for Bill Johnson, who couldn't get up for the ball.
Take a look at number 4, Billy Johnson. Started the season as a quarterback, has fine hands. They like to spot him out on the flank as a receiver. He's caught a touchdown, too. Coming out there in part-time duty. Senior is a real team player for the Tanners. Most teams would find a senior quarterback, if you will, coming in 2-year starter, being replaced midway through the season. Lost his job due to injury, but the Tanners trying to build a little bit for the future.
Absolutely.
Has gone with Skeffington.
Skeffington has not been able to complete many passes yet. He's missed a lot of targets downfield. Here's a punt by Michelle, and it bounces at the 20, and it's going to go out of bounds at the 6-yard line. A great punt that time.
As I alluded to, Sal, you got to catch those punts. Silla did not want any part of that punt. It seemed like he had time to get under it, make the catch. You don't want to turn over deep down field, but you're pretty much shooting yourself in the foot. Instead of catching the ball at the 18, 20-yard line, you let it roll, and now you're going to be starting, out of the shadow of your own end zone, if you will, back on the 6.
Michelle gets 49 yards on that punt, so an average of 34 during the season, but today probably averaging close to 40 yards a kick, and that's where his net lies, too, because, Winchester not able to return too many of these punts. So they'll play it from the 6-yard line, will Winchester, and they have their work cut out for them. They have to move quite a few yards before they're in scoring position. Here's a give to one of the tailbacks, and he's not going to get much off the right side. That's Joe Murphy. It's going to be second down and about 7. We'll give him 3 yards on that carry, and it's always good to try to get a few yards on that first down when you're in the shadow of your own goalpost.
Exactly. The big guy to watch for is Danella, the fullback. Surprised they didn't go with him up the gut, but want to take advantage of some lead blocking. Grind it out maybe about 2 yards. Winchester probably does not want to have to try to run outside, but with Carroll, I think that's probably your best option.
Danella has been quiet to this point in the game. They haven't given him the ball much. Everybody's in tight. Here's a give to the right side. There goes Murphy. He's got some room to the 10. Murphy to the 15 and shoved out of bounds at about the 18-yard line.
Well, we've called his name, Sal. Defensively, Doug Halchak having a fine game, made a nice block, pinching in on Woodson Michelle, the left cornerback, and was able to get Murphy to the corner and pick up the first down.
It was a great run. And you're right. He was there for the block. At the 19-yard line, we'll call call it first down. 9:20 to go here in the second quarter, and no one has scored. No one has threatened to score, really. The deepest penetration, the 42-yard line, and that was by Winchester, moving to Woburn's 42. Here's the snap, and they will give the ball. There's Danella, the up back, and he has yards to the 30, slips tackles, and up to the 35-yard line.
Danella has halfback speed in the fullback's body.
Are they sandbagging Danella to this point in the game? They haven't played him much. And,
you would think with 561 yards coming into this game that he'd be a featured back. But I believe from our unofficial notes that might be his first carry, and it was a big one.
I think so. 6.2 yards a carry, so he doesn't get too many touches, but when he does, he makes it count. From the 36-yard line, first down for Winchester. Carroll will give the ball to one of the tailbacks running to the left side, turns it back in to the 40, and that's going to be about a 5-yard carry.
A nice force off the corner by Jay Carroll, turning it back in where the pursuit was able to corral. Was that Murphy on that carry?
That was Matt Malatesta
on that play. The Sachems can come out with a host of running backs. And Mohamed Batahi, who's wearing number 74, came in and was able to cover up on the backside and make the tackle.
They'll play it from the 40, second down and a long 5. And Winchester now starting to grind it out and getting some success on the running attack here. Here's a snap, and he'll roll to the right. Here's a pitch to Murphy, and there's a great defensive play. That's Woodson Michel making a huge stop at the 34-yard line, and he just burst out of nowhere to make that tackle. A 6-yard loss on that one.
Again, the multifaceted Michel, not a Deion Sanders type on the corner. If I can blow my own horn on that, he does not shy away from the contact.
He'll make a shot, right.
Exactly right.
Deion will tee it up a little later, Minnesota and Dallas. But you know, you watch the programs, and this is what it's all about. You know, you talked about it. You can't imagine your life without a Thanksgiving football game, and it's just a great thing, a great tradition here in the Northeast and indeed in New England. Danella gets the carry and nothing on that play.
And I'm glad we have the good weather to go along with it. As far too many times you play late November, you know, you're subject to the elements. Your MIAA Super Bowls is another example. It seems once you get through mid-November, it's hit or miss, and it's usually hit.
Fourth down at about 11 and a half, and they're going to punt. Carroll has come on, and he's stayed on. He's the quarterback, and he'll block for number 24, who's going to punt it away. That's Tom DiCarlo. He was a good punter. He's got a good leg, and Woburn has sent Iverson and Michel deep. Fourth down and 12. There's a snap, and there's the punt, and it is blocked, batted down, and caught then by Winchester, and then they come to fall at the 39-yard line. Who got a hand up on that punt?
For Wood was number 61, Mike Tortorella, a senior who doesn't get a lot of time except on special teams. This is a big day for him. You know, you have a senior that sticks out in the program, practice after practice, the heat of double sessions. Like I said, not a starter, but most seniors sometimes go by the wayside. But Tortorella, given the opportunity on the special teams, comes up with a big play here in the early parts of the second quarter and setting up Woburn on the 38-yard line of Winchester.
What a great play. Now Woburn needs to step up here and make a play. 7:04 to go in the second quarter. There's no score, but a deep penetration now by Woburn, the deepest of the game. They will give to Michel running to the right. He's got speed, 30. Michel plowing off tacklers to the 24-yard line, 23-yard line.
Michel just given.
He takes a hit and he gives a hit, doesn't he?
Exactly. He just ran over number 10 for the Sachems, Kovi Sadaki-Mensah, who's one of their top tacklers and no slouch for the Sachems on defense. And Kofi got a good look at Mr. Michel coming around the corner.
Winchester's going to call their second timeout. I got to think about this. First down and 10.
That's one thing you wouldn't think Michel Sal has, is that's a lot of power. A very solidly built young man, 160 pounds. When I interviewed him for the story I did, I was surprised at how strong he is in the upper body. An outstanding track performer, triple jump, long jump, and obviously sprinter speed. Has done a 10-800 meter dash. Can turn the corner, but also has the power to roll over people. We saw it earlier on defense. Now we saw it on offense, just taking the corner. He doesn't go down with one hit. He's a very strong kid and was able to get pick up some extra yards with that second effort. And that's one thing that Woburn needed, setting up now in the 23. The Sachems back on the heels.
He's got the right angles and he's got the right heart for it. So and combine that with some ferocious speed, and you're packing a heavy punch. First down from the 23. Woburn on the move here. Winchester probably favored. If you think about it, probably the better team coming in. Probably a little bit more talent. They've had the better season. But as you say, Woburn has them on their heels. First down from the 23-yard line. Skeffington will bring them up to the line. Backs in an I formation. Wide out to the left. Here comes Woodson Michel running to the left side. He tries to turn it in, and he can't. And down to the 21-yard line.
Well, the Tanners could have used a little bit better downfield blocking on that. Sachems were able to fight off some downfield blocks and pretty much seal that play off at its inception. They could not get the corner out there, and that was a big defensive stop for the Sachems, who've come up big when they've needed to on defense. We said haul check a couple of times when they've had 3 sacks, so the Tanners are trying to get something going outside. Do not want to have to subject themselves to putting the ball in the air and face that pass rush.
That's right. Second down and 8. Here's the snap, and they give the ball to Iverson, the fullback, or the upback, I should say, and he tears all the way to the 11. A little mix-up there. They were clearly looking for Woodson Michel. They go with Iverson.
Well, one of the textbooks way to combat a pass rush is the draw play.
Draw, right.
So just a little simple sprint draw by the Tanners. Iverson, nifty runner, takes the handoff and just found the seam right up front, the middle, and working it down to the 11. Now the Tanners are in business.
We've got 6:05 to go here in the first half, and Woburn with a huge offensive threat now all the way to the 11-yard line. They've gotten in trouble when they've needed to throw. They have not had to throw on this drive. Backs in an I formation. Skeffington under center. Here's the snap, and it's a give to Woodson Michel, who darts in, now tries to shake back out and can't. Put down just outside the 10-yard line.
A nice tackle by Tom DiCarlo, the top tackler on the Sachems. Fought off that block and came in and dropped Michel, I believe, for no gain. Tanners were trying to just do a little trap play. Michel saw there was nothing to the left, tried to cut it back to the right, but back to the right was the waiting arms of number 24, Tom DiCarlo.
That's right. It's going to be second down and a long 9 from just outside the 10-yard line. Backs in an I again. Here's Skeffington rolling to the right side, now throwing to the end zone, and he's got a touchdown. He has a touchdown.
Number 2, Jared Scribner.
Jared Scribner makes the catch.
Fine grab by little Jared Scribner in the hands.
It was a hard throw, but Scribner able to pull it in. Scribner's had a couple of nice plays. He has the touchdown. He had that fumble recovery earlier in the game, which really would have given Winchester some great field position, but he makes the play then, and he makes the play here.
Bit of an underrated player, only 5'6", a junior.
Small guy, but he, a lot of heart, a lot of speed, and in this case, nice hands.
Yep, typical Woburn kid.
There you go. They'll line up for the extra point. Craig Iverson had a couple of nice runs on that drive. Kicks it, and kicks it through.
Number 22, Craig Iverson, the holder. Number 4, Bill
We'll kick it off. And Winchester really needs to think about answering. Here's Carroll to make that Murphy with the ball at the 8-yard line, the 10, the 20, and he's going to break right through the seam to the 32, 33-yard line with it.
Now we'll see if the Sachems can answer. Signs of good teams is how you respond after giving up a touchdown.
That's right.
The Woburn defense has certainly come up very strong in the early going, trying to shut down Carroll. He's not had much success throwing the ball yet. They're trying to get outside with some running backs like number 22, Murphy or Malatesta, and Danella perhaps up the middle might be something they might want to try to explore since he's been kind of under wraps.
Let's see if they try on Danella, because yeah, you're right, they're yet to use him much. And no, Carroll's going to run with the ball to the left, now try to turn it back in, gets a few yards up to the 37-yard line.
Dropping Jim Holleran back in the linebacker spot, going with a 4-3 look, I believe. Probably a new wrinkle the Tanners have used just for today's game to try to defend the Sachem option.
Well, with the sort of offense that Winchester has, is not the type of team that can come from large margins down. Sort of a running attack. They run the quarterback out wide and try to pound away at you. So they really need to put something together here. From the 37-yard line, they'll send Murphy in motion. Here's the snap. Carroll throws right side, and it is caught out there by the flanker on a possession-type pass. And that's 84, Brian Curry making the catch.
Good call on that.
Close to a first down.
Just 6 yards, and I believe that's just what they're going to get. Curry, their top receiver, just a little hitch, if you will. Possession catch. Michel is right there with the stop, and the Sachems are going to move the chains.
They will move the chains. First down on that play to the 43-yard line. 4 minutes and 17 seconds left to go for Winchester. And looking out, the skies are staying gray and no hint of rain just yet, so we'll take it. They load up the backfield. And Woburn brings everybody in tight. Here's the snap, and it's a give to the fullback. There's Danella, who's had success when he's carried today, and he's up to about the 50-yard line.
Well, Sal, it looks apparent to me Danella is the path you want to take in the running game. Hits the holes very hard, 6.2 yard average per carry, as we've alluded to, and he also can break the big runs. He's had 2 scores over 80 yards this year.
Type of guy that can wear you down too, and that's what you want, especially in teams when you're playing both sides of the ball. Want to try to wear that defense down. Here's the snap, and Carroll's going to roll to the left side. He's got some room to the 50. He's got plenty of room to the 40. The 35 tries to turn it back inside. It does. There's a flag on the play. There's a flag down, and Carroll's going to scoot in the end zone for a touchdown. And there's another marker, so we're going to have to check out the penalties.
Well, initially it's going to come back because Mike Kuttner at number 83 clipped Craig Iverson down about the 22-yard line. That's the first infraction we saw. Did not get the other one, but they're not going to put points up on the board just yet.
John Carroll showing some dangerous speed as he was able to break free. Illegal use of the hands is going to be the call. That's going to be a spot foul, so they will get some yards on the play. But
they'll get it up to the 22 and then 15 back, so probably see it about the 37. Kuttner apparently with a push in the back saw Iverson go sprawling. It was apparent right off the bat. Well, you get 10 yards on a push.
That's the call. It's going to be an illegal use of the hands. You saw it.
Well, nice blocking by the Sachems inside to get Carroll to the outside, and that's where he's so dangerous running the ball, as he displayed again with the 185-yard performance he had at Knowlton Stadium in Winchester a year ago.
And you got to wonder, you look at the play, and it's another case of a penalty being away from sort of where the action is. Do you need the penalty to free the play? So it's a costly mistake for Winchester from the 32. First down, they'll give to Danella, and he plows through to the 25-yard line.
That's all him. Just dragged Alexis Cologne for a couple of yards. The Woburn defensive end came in nicely, tried to make the wrap with the arms, and Danella gets off the mark very quick. Was able to plow ahead and picked up a nice 6-yard gain.
25-yard line. It's going to be second down, and we'll call it 4. And Winchester answering. Carroll will bring them up. And Danella and Murphy are staying in the game here, along with Matt Malatesta. Wide out to the left side is Brian Curry. Here's the snap, and that's Murphy. He's got the first down inside the 20-yard line to about the 19.
Well, Sachem's getting the push off the ball. We're able to push Woburn back a couple of yards before the running backs even get to the line of scrimmage, and it's resulting in some pretty good yardage. I think they might be very conscious of Carroll, but it looks now the Sachem's line is starting to get the push, and they're getting the ground game in all facets working on this series, getting inside the 20-yard line. The Sachems can put points on the board. Only once this year have they scored less than 2 touchdowns. So Woburn's going to have to come back and put at least 2 or 3 touchdowns up on the board, because Winchester can score.
They stack everybody in, and here's a run by Carroll to the right side. He fakes the pitch. He's got more yards, slipping tackles to about the 14-yard line. Well, what we've seen is each team has sort of started to develop a pattern offensively, and then they violate that pattern. We don't give the ball to Danella. Let's give the ball to Danella. We don't throw the ball much for Woburn. Let's try to pass to the corner.
Exactly. Now, and Carroll's
chess match,
attacking the corner once again with the option. Iverson came through, almost broke free of Iverson, but Massanani was there with a good pursuit to the ball to finish it off. But still, Winchester is picking up 4, 5, 6 yards a chunk, as well as also getting a big gain from Carroll early to set him up inside the red zone. And Winchester looking good in this series down the 14. Woburn needs a negative play here to try to stem this drive.
That's right. Second down, and we're going to call it about 5 from just inside the 15-yard line. 1:53 to go here in the first half. Plenty of time for Winchester to even the score. Carroll under center. Here's the snap, giving the ball to Malatesta, running to the left side. He's spun down hard at the 13-yard line. A play that looked like it might develop, but again, Woburn ready for the task.
Well, Ryan Keeley and Mo Batahi out on the wing. Turning the play in as Jay Carroll forced it initially. He was taken out of the play, and it did look like we were going to get to the corner, but the Tanner Pursuit did pick up Pursuit very well in that play and got the stop they kind of need. It wasn't a total negative play, but it was a no-gainer,
right,
which now sets up 3rd and 5. We got the timeouts now with, I believe, if that is a charged timeout, as we are well under the 2-minute warning with 1:43 to go. the Sachems can turn to DiCarlo if they need to kick a field goal. But obviously, Coach John Donahue and his staff are thinking 6 points and with the conversion to tie this up at 7. It's been a good ball game so far. Both teams able to move the ball, coming up big on defense. The kicking game's been outstanding. Everything you want in a Thanksgiving Day football game. We've alluded to the weather has cooperated.
That's right.
So far, looks like we're going to get at least the first half in without any elements coming down. And we got a nice, fine crowd on hand, probably in the Avenue of about 5,000 people, which is small for this game, believe it or not. Usually it can swell into the 10s to 15,000s on some occasions.
Winchester called a timeout there. Now they'll bring him up to the line. That's their third timeout. Carroll will throw, rolling to the right side and firing, and he's got a man wide open at the 5 to the goal, close to the goal line to the 2, and it's going to be first and goal there. No markers on that play. And that's number 9, Michael Morris with the catch.
Michael Morris dragging across from the left side. Was there with a little underneath catch. He's pumped up as Satan's going to take a timeout.
So another timeout on the field. So Winchester using their full complement of timeouts. It's their 4th timeout of the first half. And just, taking it play by play. And that's probably a good strategy so that they make sure that they execute well.
Well, you have to commend Satan's coming right back, answering that touchdown. Well, they're not in yet, but certainly have come down inside the 5-yard line now. And just probably a play or two away from tying this ball game up, perhaps.
That's right.
Tanners have not done anything really badly this year defensively. Their secondary coming into the season was considered a weakness, but no team has really riddled them with the pass. They seem like they let down on occasion. Either they get worn down physically or what have you. Belmont struck for 3 touchdowns to just literally steal a game here the last time Woburn had a contest. But they do have the athletes on their side of the field. Batahi, Cologne, tough kids on the wing.
Right.
Dominici's had a great second half. Your secondary's very athletic. So they can't come up big here in time. But Sachen's knocking the door on their size and power. Probably just inevitable here before it's tied up.
2 yards. Here's a pitch to Murphy running right. He lunges. Touchdown. A touchdown for Winchester. Joe Murphy on the score. So you called it perfectly there, Steve. You said a play or two. It was one play, and they'll line up for the extra point. So Winchester moves down the field. And they move down, start the drive at the 34-yard line. They're able to go 66 yards, and they're able to keep it on the ground. A couple of passes off the right side, but nothing fancy, just pretty much grinding it out, and they're able to score on Woburn.
Yep, no home run throws, no big runs, although Carroll did have a good run that brought it down with the penalty pushed it back a bit, and now just a conversion kick away from tying this up.
Tom DiCarlo will try the point after. And his kick is on its way. His kick is good. The game is tied at 7. 1:28 to go here in the first half, and a Thanksgiving Day rivalry. 7 for Woburn, 7 for Winchester. It's been a good football game. We've had some nice hits. We've had some rugged running of the football. A few mistakes, but that's typical. That's to be expected. A couple of fumbles, a few penalties here and there.
And pretty appropriate that we're now back to even on the scoreboard. The Sachems coming back very strongly on that drive. The Tanners, I would say, in terms if you're going to assess the play so far up to this point, you have to like Woburn. So far, Woburn, like I said, the underdog coming in, the Sachems possessing probably a little more firepower with their run game on the offense to maybe put Woburn away. I think it would be more of a surprise if Woburn was up, say, 14-0, than it would be if Winchester at this point is up 14-0. So the Tanners have to feel good with an even game, taking it to the final 22 minutes, and also knowing how Woburn is offensively. If they get a good kick return here, you're not going to see any kneels and just run the ball up the middle. They'll probably spread it out, use a couple of quick drops by Skeffington, and maybe perhaps break somebody up on the sideline and up, or a quick deep pattern.
Okay, so we'll look for points for making tackles with more than one guy, but if they did, Winchester would lead the game right now. 14-yard line for Woburn, and now the Tanners have an interesting situation. 1:22 to go. They have all their timeouts, and let's see if they don't try to throw the ball. They have a couple of flankers over here to the right side, and here's a play action fake. Skeffington will throw. He rifles it to Michel, who's going to get the first down to the 26-yard line. He's tackled in bounds and 11 yards. Well, you're in position to try to get some more yards and maybe go for a score.
Well, new wrinkles shown by the Tanner offense. Woodson Michel line up as a fullback, slipping him out of the backfield, picking up the short little controlled pass for the first down. I was about to say I didn't think Woburn with that field position would do anything too risky, and it certainly wasn't. A little fan pass to Michel in the flat. He can break some tackles, make people miss, and was able to get them a little more breathing room out to the 26. Still in a situation where you don't want to turn the ball over with a minute and 14 seconds to go. So I think we're going to see a little more controlled offensive passing probably by the Tanners with some underneath stuff. Perhaps get some Sachem people to miss and maybe try to spring a big play that way. But one thing Woburn does not want to do is give up a turnover, obviously, in this situation.
And Winchester with only one timeout left, you know, if you decide, well, I don't know if we want to risk it, we can grind the ball out. You could run out the half fairly easily. So the ball's pretty much in Woburn's court right now. They'll play it from the 26. They'll play it first down and 10.
Again, I'd look for maybe spread the field with the 4 receivers, maybe something underneath for about 10, 15 yards, and Woburn will spread it out just a bit.
He's got Scribner and Johnson split to the left and the right side on first down. Here's a snap. They'll give the ball to Iverson, and he stacks the pile up to about the 28-yard line, maybe a couple on the carry.
Well, can't fault anybody on the Woburn side, but a little conservatism. Got to feel very good about being in a 7-7 game, trying to get it into the second half. If the opportunity does arise right now, take it. Maybe trying to spring Iverson up on a little draw. But one thing, the center of the Winchester line, you have some big kids there, and it's going to be very rare if you get a mismatch up the middle to spring one. But certainly was worth the chance. And one thing, again, do not want to turn it over here in the last minute. 28-yard line and second down and about 8. Here's a pitch to the left side. Michel, he's got some room. He turns inside 35. He cuts it back out to about the 40, 39 we'll call it. And that's a beautiful run. Just one missed tackle away from really breaking it. Nice play out there and coming on the pursuit, number 63 for Winchester, I believe. Coming and making the play is Chris Rios. Or Michel might have had it into Winchester territory. A nice spin move, broke free of one tackle, and Rios was the last man to make the play. You're going to see at least another 20, 30 yards, if not the distance with Michel's speed. Right, from the 39-yard line, that's where Woburn will take it. They call another timeout. So, each team sort of pretty much moving the ball, and then in the waning minutes of the first half, calling the timeout so that they can get the proper execution, get the right people onto the field, and run the right play. Well, Sal, most of the time in the 1980s, this series was huge. I mean, it's still a big series with the proximity of the towns and the history and tradition and so forth. But there hasn't been a title on the line since '91, and it's been surprising, and it was surprising to me that Woburn has not won here since 1982. Granted, a couple of ties and so forth, but this has been pretty much Winchester's series, leading overall 49, 33, and 11. Why the Sachems have dominated is hard to say. Woburn, even when they've had the great teams, Sachems have been up there in their face just about every time. Well, you throw it out when it's a rivalry, right? 39-yard line, Skeffington will throw. He's got pressure, and he's going to go down. He's going to go down and go down hard at the 34-yard line. Well, that's our guy, number 73. And also getting helped out, Brian Forenza, number 81, and Halchek was there also to finish off. I was interested in seeing how that scored, either a half sack for each or just a full sack for Forenza. The fourth sack of the game for the Sachems. Showing a very solid defensive line. With their size and strength. They will overpower Woburn on a lot of occasions. And Skeffington, who does have a quick release, is barely able to get a couple steps back before they're in his face. Well, Woburn hasn't been able to throw the ball from the pocket much today. They've maybe when they roll a guy out, and even then the defensive line has got some tremendous speed. And we've seen Halchek make some plays that didn't seem like that a guy that big should be able to make. He's been able to show some great speed and knocking Skeffington down. So exactly. Second down and long now. I'm sure that's been a little 15. Bit of a puzzlement for the Woburn staff, not thinking that they were going to have this type of penetration by the Winchester defensive line. Obviously, it's no mystery that they might have a size advantage over Woburn, but usually with the Skeffington rolling out or the quick drop, you think you'd have some success there. And they have had some success, but it's probably been offset by the 4 sacks so far by the Sachems. Right, the pressure has been large, and if you look down at the rosters of both teams, Winchester's a bigger team, and so at some point something's got to give. From the 34, second down to 15, 21 seconds to go from the shotgun now. Skeffington takes the snap, rolls to the right. He's got some pressure, and he's going to have to run with the ball and be straddled and knocked down by Bill Fleming. It's a gain of a couple on the place. Check that. It's not Bill Fleming. That's Mike Kootner with the tackle. Yeah, Skeffington's coming up limping a little bit now. I think he's going to have to either take himself out of the ball game or they're going to have to take a timeout. Fortunately, you do have Bill Johnson, who can take the snaps, a senior. And has started probably about 15, 16 games in his high school career. But again, the Sachems not only just showing size, but also speed out on the wing. And Kuttner there pulling down Skeffington, who is a fine runner.
Well, there's 1 second left.
Now it's Hail Mary time or take a knee.
So, not too many options from the 37-yard line. Right. Third down and a bunch. That's academic.
Now it's time to go
one more play.
The playbook, see if you have something that will go 63 yards in one play.
Right. Well, if you're Jason Elam, you can try a 70-yard field goal, but I don't think they have anybody that can hit a field goal of that distance.
Well, being Thanksgiving, everybody likes to throw in a gadget play, if you will, that you come out, show the folks, that we are coaching all the way down. And
that's right.
But Sachems, obviously, the ball in their court, they're going to just throw it back probably 30, 40 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. Nobody gets beat deep.
Right.
Maybe try a hook and ladder for Woburn or a reverse. I mean, obviously, it's going to be something that's going to have the potential to perhaps go the 63 yards.
And Winchester will send a couple of people back in center field. That's Jeremy Carroll and Brian Curry back there. So here's Skeffington with the snap. He's got some time. He'll rifle it off to the left side. Pass is incomplete. Probably a hook and ladder they were looking for there. Exactly. That is the end of the first half. Woburn 7, Winchester 7. It's been an exciting start to this Thanksgiving Day. We're glad that you're joining us. And we're going to have the halftime show in just a few minutes. So stay with us. This is Media One Sports. Right. Like the O-line, I think they had a couple of good calls on some blocks. You can put a couple of things. See what you name the a couple of kids the other, like 3 years styles. Kids fine for 3 years styles. I don't think I should have been probably.
Technology. It's made the other side of the world seem closer than the other side of town. But you don't live on the other side of the world. You live here. And that's why Media One's been connecting houses to our interactive broadband network here. And here. And here. Because you want to be a part of that PTA meeting without leaving the kids. And Media One believes our interactive broadband network is the way that you'll do it. Media One. This is broadband. This is the way.
Sal Alberto along with Steve Algieri, Media One Sports, Thanksgiving Day football. And Woodson Michelle hits a toe into it to start the second half. Murphy will let it carry him into the end zone.
Well, Sal, we've seen 2 touchbacks so far on kickoffs. The wind is pretty strong from the left to right, probably up to about 20 miles per hour. Temperature-wise, about 45 degrees at kickoff. So, I mean, really can't complain this time of the year. And on Thanksgiving Day to have a dry, relatively calm day. So
we'll take it. We will take it. If you look out, you see Woburn High in the background. And like you said earlier, about 5,000 people here today watching this football game. We will start the second half. The game is tied at 7. And Winchester has the first crack at it. Carroll is the quarterback, and he throws a pass to the right side. Malatesta out there, and incomplete. It'll be second down and 10. Oh, he's on an exciting halftime show. Winchester and Woburn, each band was represented, and some fine twirling of batons with the flame coming out of each end. So some talented folks, not just on the football field, but also on the sidelines today.
Yeah, the halftime goes a little bit longer than usual, up to about a half an hour. But you get the both bands. It's a full day of football and band and the cheerleaders and so forth. It's just a nice atmosphere, something that Massachusetts should be proud of. I believe it's the only state that really has the Thanksgiving Day traditions.
That's right. Here's the snap. They give the ball to the big fullback, Danella, and he is stacked up for a gain of maybe 2 or 3 on that carry.
Oh, Ryan Keeley's been banged up a little bit this season. The fine linebacker, one of the co-captains for the Tanners, number 1. Just a big head-on stop on a much bigger player in Guy Danella.
That's right. Guy Danella had a few good runs at the end of the first half, but really they've kept him under wraps for the most part today. Second down, make it third down, and about 7 yards to go. Carroll will bring him up to the line. Danella is the single setback. He's got 3 wideouts into the game. Here's a snap and a quick throw, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by Michelle, running to the right side, 25 to the 20, and spun out of bounds at the 18-yard line.
Well, there's a new Woburn High School record, Sal. Woodson Michelle with his 9th interception of the season, breaking the record of Ron Hobby, and it couldn't have come at a more opportune time, putting the Tanners in great scoring position on the 18-yard line.
That was a great play by Woodson, and it looked like a miscommunication. The receiver wasn't ready for the ball as Carroll threw it, and Woodson stepped right in front, made the play. First down from the 18 for Woburn, so an early opportunity just a minute into the first half. 9:58 to go. Game is knotted at 7, and let's see if Woburn can capitalize on the mistake. Here's the snap. Michelle gets the carry, running to the right side. He gets a couple of yards to about the 16-yard line. So he makes the interception. Now, again, on offense. And it'll be second down. We're going to call it 9. Only give him a marginal gain at best on that carry.
Well, Michelle would be one of the greatest Woburn High players if the team was more like 9-1, 10-0. You know, you elevate yourself into that folklore when your teams are obviously up in that level.
That's right.
But he's done everything. I've only been around Woburn maybe the last couple of years, but around the league for 17, and Woburn has not had a multifaceted player like Michelle.
Skeffington with an inside give to Iverson, who's stacked up at the 12, 13-yard line, we'll call it. And he was tackled on that play by number 41, Matt Hurley, who came in and made a nice stop because Iverson's got a heck of a lot of speed. Woburn will call timeout. 3rd down and 5 now. A crucial play at an interesting juncture in the game. You know, the first half, no scoring really in the first quarter, not much momentum on either side of the ball. Then a blocked punt, a drive for Woburn, and then a long drive for Winchester to answer. That's basically been the story for the scoring, but here in the second half, a very quick start.
Yeah, the Tanners taking advantage of the short field. Their first touchdown drive, 38 yards on in, set up by a block punt, and now coming up with the interception. And it's not too early here in the 3rd and 5. Again, we've alluded to with the 5 timeouts you get in high school football.
Sure.
For Woburn to take a timeout here. I mean, you're in the second half. Not to saying that they can't get down here again, but a key juncture. You want to make sure you play calling here, because perhaps you might see the field goal team coming in with potential 30-yard kick with Craig Iverson, who can make the field goal of that length. But Woburn wants to explore their options, make sure they're on the same page, and come up with a cultivated play here on a key play on 3rd down.
Well, when you come in, you're the underdog. You haven't won at your home field since '82. A touchdown here is huge. 3rd down and 5 yards to go. Play from the 13. Backs in an I formation. Long snap count for Skeffington. There's a snap, and he will roll to the left side and now pitch it. And here comes Iverson trying to turn the corner. He can't. Smothered under an avalanche of white and red at the 11-yard line. It's going to be 4th down and about 3. And let's see what they call here.
Tom DiCarlo with very fine lateral pursuit, showing why he's the Sachems' top tackler, number 24 at linebacker. Not a big kid, unlike the larger teammates that are out in the field with him. Just had fine pursuit and chopped down Iverson before he could get down to that 1st down marker. Now we're seeing what's going to happen. Bill Johnson's in, so obviously there's going to be a field goal attempt of some 29 yards, I do believe. See where they put the tee.
Yep, 29.
It's going to be just inside the 20. Now the Sachems are going to take a timeout, I do believe. I don't know if it's to ice the kicker or just to think, geez, they're going to kick a field goal. Let's make sure we have our field goal block team out here.
Right. So the Sachems will call the timeout, and it's 4th down, 3.5, 4. Do you fake it here, or do you think you kick it?
No, you kick it here. Iverson has tried a field goal early this year, I believe, of 37 yards. It was wide. He's been dead on pretty much on the extra points, something like 17 for 19, I do believe. He's been pretty accurate, has a nice leg, left-footed kicker. And from this range, I'm certainly within his range, and I think would set up fine for a left-footed kicker. You have that little left-to-right hook, if you will.
Going from the left hash mark.
Exactly. Right. So I think everything does set up very well here for his leg and everything that we've been looking to accomplish here, and that's to take the lead here from at the early stages of the 3rd quarter. Well, certainly the field goal is the right try.
He's only tried 1 field goal this year, is that right, from 37? So not a popular request of Iverson, but he was warming up in practice. He's hitting them from 35, obviously, and so certainly this is a makeable kick. And it's going to be a 29-yard try, as you said, Steve. They'll line it up from the left hash mark at the 8:34 mark of the 3rd quarter. There's a snap. The ball is down. The kick is going to be wobbly and a line drive. He pushed it to the right side, and no good. I don't even know if that had the distance.
Sometimes, Sal, you get in a situation where you know it's a field goal, it's a little longer than an extra point, maybe you tense up a little bit. Iverson certainly has the leg, just did not hit it correctly. And
he was hitting them cleanly in practice, but every now and again he'd have that one or sort of squib off and
it was a shank, as we say in golf,
and push it. So
it's going to come out to the 20 now on the missed field goal inside the 20-yard line. You won't get it from the point. You'll get it actually like it was a touchback on this occasion.
That's right, a touchback, and they'll play it from the 20. And Winchester dodges a huge bullet. Here's the snap. There's movement in the backfield, and the flag goes down. I think we're going to see a false start here, or illegal motion against Winchester. Run up by Malatesta on the play, but I think it'll be nullified.
Yes, it is motion, and I'm sure the Tanners will take the infraction. That is a declinable, unlike legal procedure where it is a dead ball foul.
Right.
Woburn does have the option, but on a 4-yard game, this is a no-brainer. It's going to come back. and I don't know why it's coming back this far.
It should be coming to the 15. And actually, the gentleman on the far side who's holding the yard marker, the yard marker, the down marker, I should say, said, hey, look, it's coming right here. So they got it to the 15. First down and 15. Winchester dodging the bullet. They throw an interception on the third play of the second half. And Woburn not able to convert. Here's the snap. Carroll rolling to the left side. Look at the rush by Woburn, and they're able to knock him down at the 16. Good penetration on that play. A bunch of black jerseys stacking him up, and it's going to be second down, and we're going to call it 14 at the 16.
Again, Craig Iverson, number 22, acting as a spy, was able to just make a beeline right for Jeremy Carroll, the Sachem quarterback, and the Tanners strung it out very well. He had nowhere to go. He did pick up a modest gain of perhaps 2 yards.
As you say, he shadows him on each play, checking out to see what Carroll's going to do. Carroll's the sort of quarterback that'll run with the ball, so you want to get a guy on him.
And so
a la
far,
Doug Flutie.
It's a high compliment indeed, but Carroll looked just like Doug Flutie in last year's game. And the Sachems have not shown that they can throw the ball downfield. They like the underneath stuff so far.
Here's the snap, and Carroll roll to the right side. He'll have to flip it out, and it's grabbed by Murphy, who can't break the tackle. Now he does. He does get the tackle broken, and he's up past the 30 to the 31-yard line. Well, that's a great bit of running. It looked like he'd be down at the 25. He's able to slip free for the first down.
Joe Murphy tight-roping down the sideline. It looked like Jim Dominici was going to knock him out and make the tackle, but with some second effort and some fine balance by Murphy, the senior, just cutting it back up and got a big first down for the Sachems, getting them a little breathing room across the 30.
Quite a few seniors on the field today. A lot of folks last high school game for their respective teams. It's as you say, it's a wonderful day. The Thanksgiving Day football. It's a wonderful tradition, and it's a wonderful way to conclude a high school career. Here's the snap, and here's Murphy. No, make that Malatesta right side, and a few more yards up to the 36-yard line. Well, Winchester had some success grinding it out in the first half, and they look like they're going back to that. Just try to run the ball, nothing too fancy. Maybe flush Carroll out left or right, give him the option to throw or pitch back, run the ball with the fullback and the halfback.
Exactly. Take advantage of your feet, speed and size and strength up front. Doug Halchek's had a monster game so far, as the rest of the Sachems line can get that push coming off the ball. And we're going to see what's going to happen here as they try to take advantage of what they do have on the line in terms of size.
That's right. Second down and about 5. Here's Carroll giving to the up back. And that's Danella, and he's struggling and fighting and pushing, and black jerseys follow, and they're at the 40-yard line. It's going to be third down and about a yard. Good surge up the front there by Eric Farnkoff on the play.
Well, setting up a few of the other Sachems, Kevin Flynn on the line, John Huson on the left side, David Freeman at right tackle, and also Halchek and Alex Pirani at center, providing that push off the line of scrimmage for the Sachems. So let's give them some credit for being able to win the battle of the trenches so far.
Here's a pitch to the right side, and Murphy has the first down. Well, they won the battle of the trenches that time. We've alluded to it. They're a bigger football team. Possibly not as fast as this Woburn team, but a little bit larger, and able to use their size that time for the first down to the 42, and that'll move the clock.
Second first down in this drive for the Sachems after dodging the bullet with the turnover deep in their own territory. Able to now grind it out to the 41. Nothing fancy so far, just a couple of yards here, a couple of yards there.
Here's a give to Malatesta, running left side, showing some good speed. Stacked up and dropped at the 48-yard line. And it's going to bring up a second down and about 3. Joe Prizio on the tackle that time, number 88.
Coach Rocky Nelson, who does handle the defense for the Tanners, looking to try to get some answers here to stop this onslaught. Sachems, again, as they ended the first half, just grinding it away on Woburn and trying not to shoot themselves in the foot. I was surprised in the first down pass coming off the opening kickoff, which resulted in an incompletion and kind of hurt their drive.
Here's Carroll wanting to throw again, trying to roll out, and he's not going to be able to do it. He's going to go down, and down hard. Alexis Colon on the play. What a great sack by Colon, who burst through the line. Carroll, in a rare attempt at a pocket pass.
Just a big loss of some 12 to 13 yards. Colon, but Carroll almost slipped out of it, showing his athleticism, but big Alexis Colon, number 7, pulling him down. And that's a play if Rocky Nelson could have designed it. Like, let's get a sack for about 13 yards. And
That's right.
Yeah,
you don't have the luxury of actually calling a play on defense that, you know, that is hoping for a certain result, but he got it that time. 3rd down and 15 from the 37-yard line. Here's Carroll looking to throw in the pocket again, rifles it up the right sideline and just too deep. A little deep, looking for not Murphy on the sideline. That's going to be number 84. That's Brian Curry trying to make the catch.
And Woodson Michel in coverage. You're looking at 9 picks on the year now. 5 in the last 3 games for the Tanner cornerback, and you're just not going to beat a speedy kid like Michel coming up there. Sachem's again, the play was predicated by the sack on the previous down, and now they're forced to punt.
Tim Massinati also on the play and made a good move at the ball. But you're right, Michel, he's a speedster, and it's really hard to beat him. DiCarlo on to punt. He got his last punt blocked. He gets a good foot into this one. Wobbly punt, and it's going to bounce back, and it looks like it's down to the 38-yard line. The Winchester folks are saying that it touched a Woburn player. I don't think
wishful thinking, but it was close. Tim Massinati almost got hit by that tail-dragging punt that was spinning in a way I've never seen a ball come off somebody's foot in that way. The tail was dragging almost the opposite way if you expected, and then it just kicked back, and Massinati, looking to make a block, almost got hit by the ball by accident.
So Winchester doesn't get lucky on that play. That's a bad bounce, and it amounts to about a 30-yard punt. From the 38-yard line, 1st down, Skeffington brings his Woburn team up to the line of scrimmage. Let's see if they can try to overcome that missed field goal and put some points on the board here. Another long snap count, trying to draw Winchester off sides. He'll roll to the right side. Lots of pressure. He's pounded, and the ball flies out of his arm incomplete. Actually able to get the pass off, and he's lucky because he would have been stuck pretty hard in the backfield.
Sachem's coming with the blitz all the way. Guy Danella bursting through there and just tattooing Skeffington in the back. And now Tanner's going with a quick count, perhaps trying to get some substitutions off the field for Winchester.
Hurry up offense here. And Skeffington looking to throw, maybe looking to throw here. He's got 3 wideouts in the game, all split to the right side. He sends somebody in motion right to left. Another long snap count. And here's a quick throw to the right side and incomplete, looking for Iverson.
Sachem seemed to be guessing right defensively, getting some pressure coming up the middle.
Right.
On the Tanners, Skeffington, again, who's had success in pass with a 3-step drop, is hardly having a chance to react to what the Sachems are sending his way up the middle.
And they're going to go hurry up offense again without the huddle. 3rd down and 10 this time, and it's a curious call because it hasn't worked yet. 4 wideouts in the game this time for Skeffington, who's taking his time at the line of scrimmage again. Here's the snap, more pressure, but he gets enough time. He rifles the ball up high and incomplete. Looking down the right sideline for Bill Johnson and not able to find him.
Woburn's finding a little more difficulty offensively as the game has gone along. The Sachem defensive coach is doing their job as Woburn is kind of stuck in neutral, not gaining the 1st down after that interception by Michel. And right now it's a 3 and out and not looking good doing it offensively. The Sachem's just in their face, not allowing the Tanners to either run or pass with just fine, intense pressure just coming right up the middle.
That's 3 straight passes on that possession. So you start off with good field position, but not able to convert. And they're going to have to punt because Woodson Michel has come back onto the game. He's a good punter. Let's see what he can do here. It's a nice booming punt. It sends the Winchester receiver deep, and this ball is going to carry him into the end zone. Well, a good job of cat and mouse by Mike Rosillo, number 32, who was down there for Winchester, making it seem like he was going to go after the ball. He stays away from it. It's able to bounce into the end zone, and it's a touchback for Winchester.
Well, at least Rosillo did not get a brain lock on that. I mean, in my opinion, he should have caught the ball, but then after it was caught, he just didn't veer away and actually acted as a little interference, keeping Woburn from pinning it deep.
Right.
I mean, he didn't complicate matters by running away from it. Actually was able to provide a little help by getting the ball into the end zone. And Sachem do dodge a bullet as Michel just having an incredible game kicking the football, kickoffs as well as punts.
1st down from the 20-yard line, and Carroll will run with the ball to the right side and stack it up to the 25, and it's going to be 2nd down and 5 there. The wind has picked up a little bit, feels a little bit colder than it did in the first half, but again, no rain yet. and we'll count our blessings.
Sal, if I'm Winchester, I want to run the ball. I want positive yards every play. It's a team that cannot take negative yardage play and come back and respond.
Right.
2nd and 4 is situations you want to be in. You can't then do something inconceivable like maybe throw a short pass and get interceptions. Run the ball straight ahead.
Malatesta in motion. They give the ball to Danella, who fumbles. It's on the ground, and Woburn has recovered. Woburn has recovered the fumble. And now we hear it from the Woburn faithful. Excited over that play, and they should be. It's the 2nd turnover of the 3rd quarter. Let's see if Woburn can score some points this time. Winchester's defense has been in the shadow of their own goalpost. They defended it mightily last time. Let's see what they can do here.
Looked like there was a hand right in the gut of Danella as soon as he got the ball. Before he could even put it away, he was stripped from it. And the Tanners coming up big now.
You hear the rumble.
This could be just what Woburn needed. Although we're down here earlier, even closer, was not able to get much started.
Woburn comes in 4-5. Probably not the better team, but they're playing like the better team today. Iverson with the carry off the right side. 3 yards on that one. We'll give him 2 yards on the carry. Love you joined us late. First of all, happy Thanksgiving, and happy Thanksgiving to you, Steve.
Thank you, Sal.
And been an exciting football game. Lots of moments where you thought, well, okay, it's one team's game to win, it's one team's momentum to take, but then it shifts back the other way. A missed field goal a little while ago for Woburn. Now Winchester fumbles it, 27-yard line. Backs in an I formation, 2nd down and a long 7. Here's a snap, and they give the ball to the upback, and he's down quickly at the 26-yard line.
David Freeman, senior defensive tackle, with a nice play inside number 63, clogging up the middle. Just another cog in that Winchester defensive line that's been able to shut down Woburn here in the last couple of possessions, and the Tanners are facing 3rd and long.
It was a big play.
Exactly. Woburn has definitely had the edge in field position since the opening quarter. Has been given the opportunities to kind of take control of this game, but Winchester's defense is not allowing it.
Winchester's defense has dug in tough. They've done it again on this possession. 3rd and 6. Skeffington looking to throw, has to roll to the right side. He's got some room to run. He drives to the 1st down, and he is close, but knocked out of bounds at the 21-yard line.
Well, one of the few times of late that Skeffington has been able to free himself of the pressure. He was just able to get by Doug Halchak.
Looked to be Michael Morris on the tackle, and the Woburn crowd here chanting go.
Oh, that's a no-brainer. They're not going to try
and it looks like that's what they're going to do. It's a long field goal, and it's from an awkward angle for a left-footed kicker. So definitely you go for it on 4th down and a yard.
I'll keep point of the game, 1:18 to go.
Well, Iverson has come out of the game. And everybody's in tight, and everybody's excited here at Conley Field. 4th down and a yard. Here's the snap, and they will give the ball, and big yards for Woodson Michelle inside the 10 to the 5-yard line.
Nice downfield block by number 3, Robert Doherty, something the Tanners didn't receive early in the game from their wideouts. They're just staying with Mensah on the corner, and Mensah did make the tackle, but it was still when Michelle was already about 10-15 yards downfield. Prevented a touchdown at least, but the Tanners looking very good with 1st and goal from the 5 and a big play to convert that 4th down.
Really just a step or 2 away from a touchdown. From the 5-yard line, 1st down and goal. Everybody's stacked in tight. A long snap count by Skeffington. Here's the snap, and he gives the ball to the tailback, Michelle. Fighting to the 3-yard line.
Well, the yards are obviously going to be tough to come by down deep. Woburn does not have that one big power back that you need, maybe perhaps Frizio, but it's a tailback-oriented offense where either Michelle or Iverson will get the call. Looks like they're going to go into a spread formation now.
That's right. They bring in some of the wideouts. 30 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter, which has been owned by Woburn. They got an interception on the 3rd play of the quarter, but we're not able to capitalize. They missed a field goal, and now after a Danella fumble, they have a chance to break this 7-7 tie. Here's the snap. There's a flag down. Rolling to the left side is Skeffington, and he's going to get in for the touchdown. He gets in for the score. We'll check out the penalty. And some of the Winchester players are saying it's a penalty on Woburn. Let's check out the flag. Now, it seemed like there was a flag at the inception of the play and another penalty. There may be 2 flags on this play.
Come on, Brad, let him play.
That's a common cry, let him play, but if you have obvious holding down on the goal line,
you got to call that.
It's tough to overlook that.
Sure. Let's see the penalty is offside and then holding on Woburn.
Well, we get to do it again.
So that's going to offset, and we'll play second down over.
Well, the first flag obviously came quick, and I think that was thrown by the umpire.
Yep.
And
right at the start of the play, the flag went up in the air.
So at that point, I thought it might have been a procedure, but Woburn trying to seal somebody inside to get Skeffington in the corner was detected for holding.
Well, this crowd was waiting to explode, but they don't get their chance, at least not just yet. Timeout by Winchester. They want to talk this one over, and they're wise to do that because probably three cracks at the goal line for Woburn upcoming. 7 seconds to go in the third quarter. It's been a third quarter that's been dominated by Woburn, but no points. They have another opportunity, a second chance, this time inside the 5-yard line.
Well, the Tanners looking to get a push from their offensive line. We can just go with some of the players. Number 52, Leo Di Lorenzo, a second-year starter, is the center. Has been there pretty much since day one of his junior year. He's been injury-free and has been a consistent pivot man for them. And of course, your top lineman, Eric Farnkoff, a 3-year starter. The Tanners really missed him when he was out for 2 games with a throat infection. And then you have your sides with Mo Batahi, number 74, and number 77. Brad Lang at the tackles. Jim Dominici on your left guard has really progressed since day one, getting the start on both sides of the ball after not being a starter at the season's inception. So we'll see what they can do. They've been combating the bigger and more physical Winchester defensive line. And Winchester's had a little bit of an upper hand, but here's a time for redemption here. You're down inside on the 3, looking to try to get something happen here. You've been getting some breaks with the turnovers, and now it's time to capitalize.
Woburn converted a 4th and 1 from the 21, got it down to the 5. Now a second down inside the 5 at the 3-yard line. Rizzio's in the backfield. Here's the snap. Skeffington rolling to the right side. He's got some room. He's close to the goal line. He's in for the touchdown. Skeffington able to roll right, didn't have anybody behind it. It was all up to him, and he makes the play.
Well, Skeffington, a fine name and legacy history in Woburn football, taking the roll out to the right, and that's that added dimension that he gives you. The Sachems have kind of held him in check on time with their pursuit and so forth, but usually they like to get Skeffington on the roll. He makes good decisions, usually looks for the run first. And in that case, I think there was no question that he was going to take the run and try to get, with his size and speed, for the corner, that is. He was able to get in there for the go-ahead score.
Good speed on that play by Skeffington. You see the Woburn faithful living it up, excited. Iverson on for the point after, a crucial extra point. And it's up. The kick is good. It's Woburn 14, Winchester 7. And Woburn, who comes in the underdog, now takes a lead again. Well,
the Tanners trying to do something that they haven't done here at Conley Stadium since 1982, and that's defeat Winchester. Certainly looking good now, but with 11 minutes to go, and that was the final play of the third quarter. Anything can happen. Sal, one thing we've noticed this year in the Middlesex League football, some of the coaches that did not like the extra quarter has commented how the better team seems like with that extra time, that depth and just superior ability will win out in the end. The Tanners could probably point to the last game against Belmont a couple of weeks ago as a case in point, where the Marauders rallied with 3 scores in the final 7 minutes. Lexington coach Bill Tighe, 40 years coaching the league, does not like the longer quarters because it does wear down the inferior team, if you will. And we mean no disrespect to Woburn, but a team with a little more size and perhaps a little more depth like Winchester, this might come into their liking here in the final quarter.
That's right. Well, we'll see what happens. Woburn certainly has the advantage. The teams have switched sides, and Michelle will kick it off from the 40-yard line.
Kicking into the wind.
Send this kick into the wind, that's right, which is moving left to right.
And the ball was just blown off the tee, so
wind is also swirling, so I don't know that it helps either team. But Winchester with that running attack, we expect they'll try to grind it out. That's what's been successful. Danella fumbled, and that's what gave Woburn a chance, and they were able to capitalize and get the touchdown. Here's a squib kick, which is short, and it's not very effective because Winchester's going to start off with great field position. They'll get it to the 42-yard line.
Well, I'm not sure what the rationale on that is, because you gave up some good field position. Perhaps the squib kick make it hard to field.
Right, but Matt Hurley able to get it out to the 42, and Winchester now, instead of having to drive, 75 yards, only has to go 58 to knot this thing at 14.
Well, without any stats in front of me, I would just have to think that this is Winchester's best field position in quite some time.
That's true.
Winchester,
probably since the opening drive when they intercepted a pass and were able to take over at midfield in the first quarter.
Winchester answered the last time Woburn scored.
That's right.
So it'll be interesting to see what the Sachems can do with only having to go 58 yards for the tying score.
The big play was by Carroll. There was a penalty on that play, but it was still over a 30-yard run. Here's a give to Malatesta left side, and he's up to about the 45-yard line.
Again, positive yards, as I alluded to last time before they had the turnover. Winchester just has to try to pound it away. They have the advantage on the line of scrimmage, and if you can spring Carroll on the outside, then obviously take advantage of that, but they cannot take a negative yardage play here, or it will kill their drive. They have not shown the fact that they can throw the ball downfield with any regularity.
Right. Here in the second half, Winchester, 2 turnovers, an interception and then a fumble. So they really haven't given their offense a chance to get any rhythm going. Here's the snap, and rolling to the right side is Carroll, breaking a tackle to the 50, to the 45, to the 40, tries to turn it back inside and does. 35, gets the blocks to the 30. Carroll rumbling down the left side. He's going to score a touchdown. No flags on the play. Carroll goes 55 yards. Well, they came back over to the left side and just really sloppy tackling by Woburn. Carroll breaks 2 tackles on the right sideline, turns back inside, finds a stream of blockers, and romps with the score.
Well, it seems like Craig Iverson, who's spying Carroll throughout the whole game, kind of got in the way of Jim Dominici, who's usually a pretty sure-fisted tackler, if you will, and they kind of ran into each other, which allowed Carroll to get on the corner. And Carroll, who is just a great cutback runner, was then able to feed off a pancake block by Brian Curry, who literally wiped out Tim Massinanti on that, and then was able to allow him to go the next 35 yards into the end zone.
Well, DeCarlo comes on for the crucial point after with 10:04 to go. Here's the snap, and the kick is on its way, and the kick is good. Woburn 14, Winchester 14, 10:03 left, and we have another thing to be thankful for, and that's a good football game.
That's certainly what we have. Winchester scored very quickly on that, and obviously I think now with the wind at their back, if they can get a good kickoff and pin Woburn deep, the momentum that they're riding at this moment is certainly going to help. The Tanners can obviously point towards Woodson, Michelle, and Craig Iverson back deep. They need a good return. This is a very key point of the game for both teams. Tied up 14-14. Old Mo is now wearing the Sachem colors. We'll see what happens.
Well, I hate to, certainly not trying to be comic about this, but maybe the Sachems want to let the Tanners score. That seems to be the only time that they can score is when they answer a touchdown.
Well, they're like a counter puncher in boxing.
That's right.
It seems like the best shots they get, they come back even harder the other way. And
that's right.
Exactly what's happened. Winchester's given up a couple of turnovers when Woburn didn't capitalize the first time. It was like, oh well, we'll give you another one, see what you can do. And it's only until Woburn actually gets in the end zone that Winchester says to themselves, hey, let's get moving here. Let's not lose this game here. We own this real estate here at Conley Stadium.
Right.
And they scored very quickly from a nice individual move, again by Jeremy Carroll, over 100 yards rushing, I would believe. Loves to face the Tanners black and orange.
Well, there's been no urgency in Winchester's game until something happens bad to them. Early in the game, they get an interception, they get great field position, but not really able to put it together until they absolutely have to. And it's made for an exciting football game. DeCarlo's going to kick it off. And he hits a nice deep one to the right side, which Iverson is going to let go out of bounds. The ball just out of bounds at the 1-yard line.
Well, that's a no-lose situation from Woburn. Iverson knows he's not going to catch it over there.
Right.
It either goes in the end zone, you get at the 20, or it's going to go out of bounds in the 1. And unlike a punt, it's not going to be at the 1. So now you're going to push him back 5 yards.
Right. Well, that's a great play by Iverson to not go for the ball.
One thing you don't have, Sal, in high school football like you do in the pros, or even college, you don't get the ball at the 30 or the 35, which is a rule really set up for the pros.
It doesn't kill you if you kick the ball out of bounds. It hurts, but it doesn't kill you.
Although, actually, I guess I'm going to stand corrected. I never thought they had that rule.
Well, it doesn't kill you because it puts them on the 30-yard line.
You're going to get it on the 30. I guess I've just assumed you didn't have the rule because every time I seen the ball out of bounds, the coach said, let's have them re-kick.
Right.
And I think in Rocky Nelson's case, since they do have that, and with the wind at the back and the way DeCarlo can get in the end zone, they're going to pick up 10 yards.
Well, that ball was dangerously close to being a touchback, and you like your chances at the 30. So that's where Skeffington and company will take over. 9:58 to go in the ball game, or at least in the fourth quarter, and they're trying to answer Winchester's score. Here's the snap, Skeffington to throw, and lots of time, and a completion and a stick at the 48-yard line.
Well, Robert Doherty, big catch. Woburn's controlled passing game. This is going to come back, I do believe.
Brian Forienza on the tackle. You're right, there's a marker on the play, and we'll check the penalty, and it's going to come back holding. Well, you know, Skeffington stood there in the pocket, and it was one of the times he had a ton of time in the pocket. Well, holding.
Well, he can pick you apart, true. He really hasn't had that opportunity early because of the pass rush by Winchester with 4 sacks today. So you figure, well, geez, yeah, why didn't Winchester come in on that? I guess somebody was detected of holding, and it's a spot foul, so it's going to be walked off 11 yards back to the 19. A nice catch by Doherty. He paid the price for it. Unfortunately, it's going to go for naught. On a play like that, Woburn probably caught Winchester a little bit by surprise. Winchester figured Woburn perhaps was going to run the ball. Woburn has not had a lot of success running the ball up the middle with the size and pass rush that Winchester has gained. It's just too bad for Woburn that was a fine play.
First down and 20 this time. Here's Iverson breaking out of there, but a tackle, a sure-handed tackle by number 9, Michael Morris on the play, preventing the big gain. It's a 5-yard gain up the middle there, and it's going to be second down and about 15.
Well, not a bad play on first down and try to get that chunky yardage back. Woburn, unfortunately, big killer penalty, as it usually will turn out to. When you get 10 yards stepped off against you, you have to go 1st and 20. And certainly up against it here with Winchester momentum swinging over to its favor. Tanner's going to have to try to get something going here. Maybe another short underneath pass that's worked so well. The Doherty just 2 plays before might be something that's going to be in the mix here.
Second down and 15 for Skeffington and company. 8:40 to go. Here's the snap. They pitch the ball to Iverson, and he's going to throw. He sets up, left-handed pass, down the sideline. Doherty is there, but he can't make the one-handed catch.
Well, it wasn't fooling anybody on the Winchester side. They were in coverage. Jeremy Carroll was there, but Iverson's pass was there also. Doherty just getting a hand on it and just missed connections.
It was very close. He was able to break out of the coverage, and he'd have had a huge gain if he can pull that one down. Maybe the wind played a little game with him on that one. I'm not quite clear, but Iverson had a nice throw. That was a pretty good-looking pass.
Again, even though it didn't fool anybody, the throw was just about right on the cash. But Doherty could not get 2 hands on it. Not faulting Robert Doherty. It was a very tough catch, but it was almost made, and that's something that would have got Woburn out of the hole. Now they're facing a 3rd and 14, and the Winchester defense, as they say, going to pin the ears back. Doug Halchek, Morris, the rest of the crew. This is the time that pass rush was probably going to come into play.
3rd down and 15 from the shotgun. Skeffington is going to take off with the ball, and he's going to go down to the 32-yard line. That was an interesting call, trying to change up things a little bit, run out of the quarterback keeper, but it's not enough for the first down. Far shy of the first down. 4th down and 8 at the 32, and they will have to punt.
I think it was a pre-designed quarterback draw all the way, knowing Winchester was coming in, and Skeffington almost broke free. If he had gotten by that tackle, perhaps he would have had the first down. Get a little bit more breathing room out to about the 32. Michelle's going to have to punt into the wind, and now we're going to see if the talented senior can get something, maybe turn over in this wind and pin Winchester back, although it is a pretty stiff wind. But they're giving them a lot of respect. I don't think this punt will be returned, because I don't think it's going to get to the return man, from number 22 Murphy.
From the 32, and an interesting move by Michelle. He runs up and punts the ball, which goes out of bounds at the 36-yard line.
He was dangerously close for punting the ball over the line of scrimmage, or
into one of his own men. Also, you know, a play like that, you think, well, maybe they left early. Maybe an illegal man downfield, but there's no call. And from the 37-yard line, Winchester will take over. And Winchester now, you have to say, at this point in the game, Steve, they've got all the momentum.
Exactly, and they have field position. They have the wind. They have time on the clock. A bigger team. Everything's playing in the Sagem's hands. Woburn's going to have to come up with an answer defensively.
From the 37-yard line, here's the snap, and they run the ball with Malatesta, and you can see it in the offensive line. You can see it starting to happen. The charge forward and a 4-yard carry on that play. But you can see that Winchester is starting to wear Woburn down a little bit. Woburn's going to have to step it up here if they're going to answer.
Now, that was a problem. The Belmont game, the Tanners got worn down. Again, the extra minutes on the clock that we've alluded to. They don't have the biggest kids on there. They have some strong kids. They don't have the size of the Winchester Lions. There's some hulks just coming out over that ball, and they were pushing Woburn back good 2 or 3 yards off the snap.
Second down and 8 for Carroll and company. Malatesta in motion. Here's the snap, and it's a give to the up back, Murphy. maybe a yard, and third down. So Woburn lucky to get into this 3rd down and 5, 3rd down and 6 situation. Let's see what they can do here.
Well, Fonkoff making a nice play for Woburn, a 3-year starter, stuffing Winchester. And I wouldn't say we're in 4-down territory yet. If Woburn is to come up with a stop here, I would think the Sachems would punt the ball away with the wind. Might be able to get some good field position the other way, but Winchester still has another play to pick up 5 yards, and I think you're going to see the ball kept in Jeremy Carroll's hands, perhaps going on the outside.
So the folks on the Woburn side trying to get their team excited. Big play here. 6:20 to go. Here's the snap. Carroll rolling. Now a play action fake or a pump fake and throws to the right side. Malatesta, a great catch down the sideline. And a first down to the 30-yard line.
Just a well-conceived play by the Sachems.
27 yards.
Fake was able to fan Malatesta coming out of the backfield, and that's really their first significant pass completion of the game.
And Malatesta wide open on the play, had lots of room. Able to get the ball all the way to the 30-yard line of Woburn. First down there. Clock moving at 6:03 and 6:02. Danella, the single setback. Here's the snap. They give the ball to Malatesta running left. He has room, and he's going to go all the way to the 15, to the 10. He'll score the touchdown. There's a flag on the play. We'll have to check out the penalty.
I think it might come back. It looked like it could be in that area where holding is called.
Let's see what they call. The flag is sitting on the field at the 33-yard line. Steve, you're a genius.
Just a lot of times in certain areas of the field and certain times when flags are thrown, you would have to think it would go one way or the other like that, and it's the area that offensive holding is usually called.
Well, nobody's been able to overcome penalties when it's shoved them back. When they've had to play a 1st down and 20, no team has been able to sustain a drive after that sort of blow. So this will be interesting to see what happens here.
Holding penalties are killers. I mean, pure and simple. 1st and 20s are a lot harder to pick up, obviously, in the first.
They'll spot that one from the foul, which was at about the 33. So this is going to amount to a 13-yard penalty, which will set up a 1st and 23 from the 43-yard line.
Well, Winchester's going to have to earn this if they get into the end zone, and now the Woburn defense has a little momentum shifting its way.
Absolutely.
The Sachems have been able to answer in the second half, wearing Batanas down just a bit, but certainly Woburn likes the situation with the 1st and 23.
Sure. Here's the snap, and they give the ball to Murphy inside. Nothing. No gain on that play. Maybe a half yard.
Well, Eric Fonkoff, number 53, was able to fight off his block. Was able to pull Murphy down from behind with a little help from Joe Prizio.
Well, we are moving to a satisfying end of this football game. 5.5 to go from the 43-yard line. Knotted at 14. Winchester and Woburn.
I think Jeremy Carroll obviously going to have to throw the ball here. It's probably 4-down territory if Winchester can maybe pick up another 10 yards. I think from this point, if we're looking at 4th down, it's again a punting situation. Although time is rapidly ticking away with like 5 minutes to go.
That'll be something here. Danella, the single setback. He's got a couple of backs flanked out on either side. Here's the snap, and Carroll wants to throw it deep and incomplete. Not quite clear what he was looking to do there. He had Brian Curry down the field around the 15-yard line, but the ball well over his head, and it's going to be 3rd down. And you hate to be in this situation. 3rd down and 22.5.
It's time to go to the back of the playbook, perhaps, to find something.
Do you have a play for 3rd and 22? Well,
what's been working, perhaps Carroll on the outside again. I think you have to give it to the best athlete. Danella has had some carries up the gut, but on 3rd and 22.5, that's not really the play with a fullback draw. I think you have to get the ball with Carroll's hand, try to make something on the option out on the wing.
Has Winchester gone away from what's worked for them all season? The sort of smash mouth football, run it with Danella, try to break some runs. 3rd down here. Carroll, some pressure, but he's able to get the ball downfield, and a great catch by Malatesta at the 20-yard line. Very close to the sticks, and I think it's just shy of the 1st down. It is.
But still, just a big-time chuck by Jeremy Carroll.
What a great
rolling
throw.
To the left, throwing across his body a bit, and just threaded the needle into Malatesta.
In traffic.
Woburn had the coverage.
Woburn did have coverage, but Malatesta makes a great catch, and we're looking at a 4th down and a timeout by Winchester.
Just a little option read, disguising it as if he was perhaps running the option to the left, was able to pull up with a quick zing just down the chute into traffic, and Malatesta's put the ball just about a foot away from a 1st down. Satan's still going to have to come up with a 4th down conversion. With the size, again, you have to like their chances. Woburn's going to have to try to maybe shoot some gaps, maybe commit perhaps 9 or 10 people to this run and hope to guess right. If Winchester gets through the line of scrimmage in this, they're probably gone, but the Tans are going to have to try to commit and maybe clog up a hole and come up with this big 4th down play.
What do you call here, Steve?
I think you have to go with a draw. Not a draw, just a...
Go something wide?
Just a dive play, no, with Danella up there. I mean, Satans enjoy a size advantage on the line of scrimmage. Just go mano a mano and just go right at Woburn on this play. Just use your superior size in this. And if you can't pick up a foot on 4th down, you don't deserve to win the game.
Well, have they been too fancy? I mean, they haven't really employed the smash mouth, and let's see if they do it here.
They seem like they've gotten away from it since the fumble by Danella on using the fullback a lot, but I think you're going to see him feature on this occasion.
Big play, 4th down, about 6 inches here, just outside the 20. There's movement on the line of scrimmage, and I think they drew them off sides. Went with a long snap count, changed up the cadence a little bit. Let's see what the call is. It is offsides, and no need for Danella, no need for running the ball. They'll get it on penalty. 1st down.
Well, it's rare that a penalty has actually worked against the team. Usually the team on offense has shot themselves in the foot. Now Woburn's going to give Winchester a bit of a gift by allowing the Satans to get the 1st down and on the 15, and time is running down. Obviously if you can score slow, this is the time to do it.
Here's the snap, a flag down on this play as well, and this may be another offsides penalty. Let's check it out. Looked to be Danella with a carry on that one.
Could be a neutral zone infraction on Woburn.
Yep.
Although Alexis Cologne is pointing Winchester's way.
A motion call.
Well, that's been typical of what we've seen offensively on both teams. Getting that 1st down situation, it becomes a 1st and 15, a 1st and 20. Not quite as punitive this time, this penalty towards Winchester, but Winchester again is going to have to go 15 yards to get the 1st down. So they're up against it again. It seems like every time a team gets a 1st down, they get pushed back.
Right, but Winchester, to their credit, get the 1st down at the 30 a few plays ago, and then there was the holding penalty, sent them back, but then they were able to get it in close. Here's the snap. Carroll fakes to Danella, and then he's going to take a sack on this play. Well, that's going to get the Woburn faithful activated a little bit, and it's going to be 2nd down and long.
Well, not only do you get a penalty, now you get a negative yardage play for Woburn, and things are starting to get a little bit better against although Winchester did dig themselves out of the grave in that big 3rd down.
A generous spot on that play for Winchester. Looked like he might have been back to the 25, but they're marking the 27.
Forward progress,
22.
I guess, did stop a big loss.
Here's the snap, and they will run the ball with Malatesta running to the left side, who tries to turn it in and can't. Knocked down at the 20-yard line.
Jim Dominici staying at home. He's playing more of an outside linebacker position than I've seen him play all season. Eric Fonkoff, coming from the backside, was able to get on that tackle.
3rd down and 15 from the 20. 3 minutes to go in the football game.
You do not play overtime in the Middlesex League, so thus you've had a couple of ties in this series, and the ties have been at Conley Stadium. So another one could be looming.
We could be heading towards a tie if Winchester can't do something here. They have a pretty solid kicking game, but you like to move it in a little bit closer. 3rd down and 15. Danella in the backfield. Here's the snap. Carroll rolling to the right.
He's got Malatesta.
Some pressure. He's got Malatesta. The pass is intercepted. Coming back to the 20, the 25, the 26-yard line, and down to the sideline is Craig Iverson. Well, he wasn't shadowing on that play.
Dropped him back in coverage. Obviously, he had Malatesta quick.
He had him open, but he couldn't get the pass to him quick enough. But Iverson made a great read on the ball.
He sat back. The ball flooded a little bit. Iverson picked it off at the 4. Now momentum shifts back to Woburn. Still a long field to go on the 26. Woburn has not shown the fact that they can move it the long field. Obviously, Winchester has set them up in fine shape for the 2 previous scoring drives. With 2:25 to go, Woburn also wants to try to take the impetus away from Winchester and also set themselves up with perhaps a game-winning touchdown or field goal.
26-yard line, you're right. It's a long field for the Tanners. Iverson with a long snap, Skeffington long snap count, and he will give the ball to Prizio, and Mike Prizio maybe a yard off the left side.
Bit of a strange call on that one.
Playing it conservative, Woburn seems
perhaps trying to catch Winchester by surprise. You give it to your biggest running back. The gain is pretty much negligible. Now we're going to get the 2-minute warning, I do believe.
Well, 2:07.
Well, the clock is unofficial. No, I think we are.
I think
telling
the
Woburn
Woburn
they
call
have 4 timeouts
timeout.
left.
Yep. Let's see what the call is.
I'm going to say it is the 2-minute warning.
Seems to be the 2-minute warning. Yep.
Getting the announcement from PA announcer.
They keep the clock on the field, and that says
Gilly.
clock on the field
Right,
is
it's unofficial.
2:07, but the folks up here are telling us 2-minute warning, and the referees, obviously the ones we want to rely on.
Surprised we're not getting a reset on the clock. It is a 2-minute warning. The referee is signifying that. Woburn with 4 timeouts remaining. Still a long way to go.
2nd down and 9. Winchester defense has to dig in here, try to get the ball back for their team. There's a snap, and Skeffington will throw for it. Steps up and rifles the ball, and incomplete. And the wind got to that pass. And you got to think the wind may have gotten to the pass in the end zone, or towards the end zone for Malatesta. Held up the ball a little bit.
Well, Skeffington is throwing into the wind. The ball might have just taken off just a little bit. Doherty was out there one-on-one on a little sideline route. Now Woburn, unfortunately, is in a chance here where if they don't convert here, you're going to be kicking the ball back to Winchester.
That's right,
Into the wind, and with enough time to maybe make something happen.
Under 2 minutes left. 3rd down from the 27. Big play. Skeffington under center. 4 wideouts in the game. Here's the snap. Looking to throw. Has some time. It's batted down and incomplete.
Doug Halchek just having a monster game.
Have had a great first half, a couple of sacks, and now he makes a huge play, which will force Woburn to punt back to Winchester. So Winchester will have another offensive opportunity, barring something strange here. 4th and 9, and I felt a couple of raindrops there, Steve. I think it's starting to rain.
Well, it's 12:25 here on Thanksgiving Day.
So we'll take it. So the forecaster's dead on, said just after 12 we'll get some rain, and it's starting. Well, we've been blessed to this point, and I think we'll all get out of here pretty dry.
A couple of umbrellas popping up.
That's right. Woodson Michelle on to punt. He hits a nice punt, very high, a fair catch called for and made at the 46-yard line. There's a flag on the play.
Getting a roughing call.
And we may have a late hit.
Oh, I don't know about this one. I think you got to let this one go. Tim Massinani looks like he's being flagged for look like just an innocent bit of hitting with a Sachem player.
Mike Rosillo made a good fair catch there, ran up and caught the ball at the 46.
If it's personal foul, it's going to be.
Well, it kills you because it's only a 28-yard punt, and now the personal foul on Woburn is going to move the ball from the 46-yard line onto the Woburn side of the field. The Tanners are going to get killed by this penalty. They'll move it all the way to the 39 of Woburn. And Winchester really just a few first downs away from a victory here.
Well, I guess what they're indicating Massinani did was a shot to the face mask, even though it wasn't really malicious, but you always want to keep shots away from the headgear.
That's right. First down from the 39. Here's a fake, and Carroll rolling to the left side. Has more room to amble. A flag gets thrown in. He's down at the 31-yard line. That's right. On first down, all the penalty.
It's almost automatic.
Let's check out the call here.
And I think especially after a personal foul penalty going against Woburn, this one's going against the Sachems.
Yeah, the personal fouls and the holding call now, if this is a holding call.
It looks like it's a push in the back, so you're going to get 10 yards, I believe, from the spot.
Yep, going to be illegal use of the hands. So they'll go back from the 36 to the 46. So penalties have really marred the second half. We only had a couple of penalties in the first half.
And it seems like it's hurt Winchester more than Woburn. The Sachems, the momentum was swung in their favor, but far too often Winchester now is getting ball drives and then having to be pushed back by penalties, and it hasn't really paid off for them just yet. And they threw the interception down deep. Did get out of one penalty-filled drive, but again, they're going to be up against a tough task here.
Threw an interception last time they had the ball. Now they're trying to work out something. Here's a pitch to the right side, Murphy, and he's stacked up hard. Another hard hit by Woodson Michelle. And Murphy upended at the 46. No gain on that play. Half yard maybe.
Well, Michelle just a heat-seeking missile. Went head on with Murphy. Michelle was still standing in there.
That's right.
The Sachem player went down. Just a fierce collision.
Well, meanwhile, while we have all these penalties and these running plays, the clock is moving. We're inside of a minute to go. And Winchester better move the ball quickly if they want to have a chance to break this 14-14 tie. From the 45-yard line, second down and plenty, 16. Here's the snap. Carroll, some pressure, rifles the ball up and incomplete. Good coverage again. Woburn's pass defense has been excellent today.
We're losing stuff out of the booth cell. Tanner's coming to fine penetration by Joe Prizio come down the right end. And taking a look at Coach John Donahue imploring his offense stay with their blocks as Jeremy Carroll comes back to the huddle. Has completed some key passes here down the stretch. Had Malatesta a couple of times coming out of the backfield.
Right.
See what they have now on a third and about 16 play to go. They've converted before.
He's been open. Third down and 16, 46-yard line. Waning moments of this one. Here's the snap. Carroll's got to throw. Rifles the ball up, down the sideline, and incomplete. Looking for Murphy out there.
Yeah, Winchester likes to cut off the slot man, fanning out towards the sideline with perhaps like a sideline and up play. That has worked a couple of times for Winchester. Now you have a fourth down and it's decision time, Sal. I think you go for it in a rivalry game, 31 seconds to go. You're not going to punt the ball. Well, they do make wholesale substitutions now.
Yep, and they bring
I think they're going to take a time out to think about it, though. Tough choice. You got fourth on a mile. Well, maybe a half mile.
If you punt, you're playing for the tie.
Exactly.
If you go for it and you don't get it, you give them the ball on the 46-yard line, and you know Skeffington's got a nice arm.
Yep.
They haven't been terribly successful against the Woburn pass defense, but they could be. So I mean, you know, I guess you're thinking, what are your chances of making a 4th and 16? Not very good.
Well, obviously, Winchester would clinch a winning season by playing a tie, coming in 5-4. I don't know if that's entering in John Donahue's thinking. Perhaps you figure if you don't get the ball, you don't get the first down, you give them Woburn 55 yards to go, to perhaps set up a game-winning field goal. Not a lot of time left. I think in this situation, the message you want to send to your kids is a positive one. You want to try to get the first down and then turn it over to your defense. Woburn's figuring Winchester's going to punt, and I don't think they're going to punt because Carlo now is coming off the field. The Sachems are going to go for it.
They're going to go for it. Well, I think initially call, and I like the call.
Oh, I love it. Neither team's going anywhere. You're playing for 5th place in the standings for this game. You just don't relinquish a chance of winning the game.
Well, Winchester, you hate to look back and say, but lots of chances in the second half to take the lead.
Now again, the timeout. Woburn had their punt return team in, I do believe, and now Winchester has shown its hand by saying they are going to go for it, which is the right choice, at least in this broadcast booth.
All right. According to these armchair quarterbacks.
Well, again, it's surprising. Sachems apparently look like they're going to get out of this with no worse than a tie, perhaps. Well, let's not speak in too much haste. I mean, if they do put the ball up in the air, which I believe they will do, you do run the chance of Woburn picking it off. And your two best athletes, Iverson and Michelle, are going to be hanging back there. And they usually come up with pretty good returns with the balls when they have intercepted the passes this season.
Right.
We've seen Michelle picking up the school record 9th interception for Woburn High this season. He's done it just about everything in his 2-year high school varsity career. And one thing of note, Michelle, he does not have a lot of football history behind him, which if you've seen him play out here today with his hitting and his returns, his kicking, you think this kid's been playing football since birth.
That's right. On the other side of the ball, Jeremy Carroll's put in a good football game. He's been able to get the ball outside on some nice runs and hit a couple of nice passes at Malatesta a few series ago for a key completion on the 3rd and long.
Well, I would go out on the limb and say he's going to try to look for Malatesta somewhere down in some sort of seam down the middle.
It comes down to Carroll here. Here's the snap. He's going to have time, and he throws the ball right side. It is almost caught, just knocked away by Woodson Michelle. Brian Curry was open, and again, maybe it's Gets the win. Maybe the pass wasn't deep enough, but Michelle able to make the play.
It's a strange type of pass play, Sal. You had two guys pretty much in the same area, just that Malatesta was coming off the slot, so he was starting 2 yards behind Curry. It looked like no doubt that the way to go was towards the Malatesta-Curry play, and then it developed very late that Curry then was able to break away a little bit from the coverage, but the fastest man on the field, Woodson Michelle, coming up with the big tip away.
Ooh, huge play. He makes that catch. Curry might amble in for the score. It's at least a field goal opportunity. But the ball goes the other way. Woburn with it. And good field position. Rolling to the right. Firing the ball. It is almost caught, but incomplete. Skeffington was looking for Bill Johnson. And Johnson not able to make the catch. That ball's got to be hard to catch as it gets a little bit colder. Maybe it's a little bit wet. Feels like a rock.
Adjusting the time. There's 18 ticks left. Here in the 94th renewal of this great rivalry.
And this has been a great 94th game.
I don't know if the wind is going to allow you really to throw the ball down the field much farther than, say, 20, 25 yards. Woburn might have to try some gadget, a hook and ladder, as they look like they tried early but never got off the ground.
At the end of the first half, right. Second down, and here's a give to the upback, and it's a good call. Michelle bursting all the way to the 40-yard line. So now Woburn will call timeout. They get 14 yards on that play. They get the ball to the 41. I got to tell you, Steve, they got a chance to win this thing.
Absolutely. I would think they're probably going to have to set up a field goal.
They probably have 1 or 2 plays before they have to kick the field goal.
Well, the underneath stuff has worked for Woburn when Skeffington has had time to get the 3-step drop. See some of the younger fans here and future stars in this game, perhaps.
Right, right. Well, figure they need at least 20 yards before they can take a reasonable shot at a field goal.
Iverson does have the leg for 35 yards. It's into the wind. You know, it's probably not the greatest situation to put anybody in, kicking into the wind at that situation, especially with the miss early. That's going to be probably weighing in his mind, but that might be the only chance Woburn has. They're still thinking 6 points, I do
First
believe.
down from the 40. Skeffington under center. That long snap count. Here's the snap. He's got time, and he throws the ball up the right side, and it's incomplete. Again, maybe overshot his target. But what impressed me about that play, Skeffington had lots of time to get that ball out of there.
I think he got one play.
One play.
And it can't take a lot of time.
That's right.
Well, into the wind from 41 yards out. Not a real lot of options. I think you have to kind of throw it towards the end zone, get it down at least by the 10, hope for a quick catch and a quicker timeout.
Well, that last play was a great call. The receiver was open, but Skeffington couldn't get the ball to it. Now more time in the pocket. Rifles the ball up, right sideline. It is juggled and then incomplete. Michelle had a chance to make the play, and he doesn't. And that is the end of the football game.
Well, any consolation, I don't think Michelle was going in. He was running into the sideline.
Yep.
He had to come back and make the catch.
If he makes the catch, he probably falls down.
And you're out of time anyway. So, I mean, that's shades of Gary Matarese from about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, who had a ball go through his arms in the end zone. Michelle's devastated by not making the catch, but it really was not going to matter too much.
Well, you know, you have to hand it to both football teams. They both played a great football game. Both teams took momentum from the other, and both able to get some really interesting scores off of some interesting plays. We had a few turnovers in the ballgame. We had a blocked punt. You couldn't ask for more in a Thanksgiving Classic, and in a way, it's nice that it winds up a tie. Both teams played very well.
I don't think either team comes away with a bad taste of what ifs or what should have been. Both teams had the chances to win. Nothing was botched. Nobody lost a chance to win. Winchester answered both times. Woburn scored. Woburn had some good field position. They might have had a little bit of an edge, Woburn that is, in the field position, and maybe had a few chances to maybe take a control of this game, but the Winchester defense came up big on one occasion with the second half turnover. Came up big offensively when they had to do. A 14-14 tie, I think, is apropos the way this contest played out.
Each team probably has their share of regrets, but they probably balance out in the end. So it was a very good football game, and it's a pleasure to be here at Conley Field today. Well, 14-14 is the final score in the 94th renewal of this classic game, and it was a pleasure to bring it to you here on Media One Sports. My name's Sal Liberto, is joined by Steve Algieri, and on behalf of Media One, happy Thanksgiving.